I am going to fence in my whole place with woven wire fencing. Thinking about getting goats, sheep, something that will not stay in barbed wire, which is what I had everywhere. But I had this around the house. There's really nothing wrong with it except it's gotten rusty and it's beginning to sag a little bit. And I've taken it loose from the fence post now, but it just had some issues. And so I'm pulling all this down that was around the house, down the driveway, across the front of the place, which is that way. And I can see my T-posts I've got down there. I've got 700 feet across the front and 1,000 feet down the side, and then another 700 feet, over 700, 750, something like that, across the front and back. I've already done the back, already done the side. That side over there is all woven wire. It was barbed wire, just went on top of it with the woven wire. But I'm going to replace this. I do the woven wire, 39-inch woven wire, and then I normally do a strand of barbed wire at the top, like that. And I've already cut these. I'm getting ready to take them down, roll them up, and replace it all. Big project, about 4,000 feet of fence probably. Big project. So take a journey with me, let's do this. This fence has been in the ground for about 25 years. Not sure exactly the year I built it, but somewhere along that line. So the posts are getting kind of rusty, and I'm wanting to change them dramatically. So I am going to first of all paint them with OSPHO. I am a big believer in OSPHO rust converter, and as I've showed you before, it goes on just like water. It's just that thin, and just paint it with OSPHO. It converts the rust to a black substance that is very paintable. Paint sticks real well to it, and it will leave, in some instances, leaves a little chalky white powder. But that's you just rub that off. Some of it comes off, some of it doesn't. Doesn't seem to make any difference when it comes time to putting a primer over it. And let me show you what comes next after the OSPHO. Each T-post then gets a coat of primer out of a spray can. Here's a place where I made splices. Rolls were 330 feet long, so from the edge, 330 feet. That's a nice set of splices right there. And a nice set of splices. So this is the south side of my place, and the neighbor had already put up a fence, a nice fence, about a year ago. And so I asked him if I could tie some woven wire to it for keeping goats and such in. He said I could. We came through here and we used the old wire that I pulled off the front of my place, and just rolled it out, pulled it as tight as we could by hand, stapled it, and I think it's going to work real well. A couple of places on this side and a couple of places on the other sides that had creeks running through them, and I wish they ran year round, but they do not. But anyway, so what I did was cut off the ends of the cattle panels to where they had spikes pointing down, and then I just kind of trimmed it up here as needed to follow the curvature of the spike, and then I just drove it down in the ground so that the last horizontal stay you see there is has also got some 6-inch spikes down underneath it. So it's down in the ground, and hopefully this will be goat tight. They tell me if your fence is waterproof, it can be goat proof. Water's running through this, so I'm not sure. We're gonna try it. I don't know why they'd want on this side. There's mostly pasture over here. On that side, it's heaven for goats. That's my place over there, and that's why I'm getting goats. It is growing up. So I thought I'd show you what we did on this side. This is again the south side, and a 5-strand barbed wire fence, about a year old. We just came and stapled the older wire that I had used, that I already had on the front of my place, and took down. Put new wire up. We took the old wire, didn't waste it, and we put it over here, and it looks good. I like it. I don't remember it being that heavy 25 years ago. Got a nice barbed wire unroll. Normally I would let the tractor unroll the barbed wire, but I've got a couple of trees down there that can't get the tractor in between them and the fence, so I'm going to have to unroll it by hand. Well, I am finished. That is my fence. About 750 feet across the front, about 1,200 feet deep. Pleased as punch with this. Let's take a walk down here. Pretty straight, ain't it? Let's go down here. Getting close to the edge now, the northern edge of my property. Again, about 700 feet across the front. Let's go down here and look at this edge. I got something I want to show you down here. Okay, this side was interesting. Neighbor had a big tree that's probably 3-4 feet in diameter. Big tree that fell over our fence line. So what I did was I couldn't move it. It was too big. Cut it off and ran the fence. And you can see kinda that this is pretty much a straight shot down through there. There's a gate about halfway down. I put in a gate about halfway down between me and my neighbor so we can go back and forth. Nice guy. And but you can see why I built the wire unroller is because there was several places where between the fence and the first tree there is about 2 feet. So there's no way I could get through there because I did most of this by myself. My 2 sons-in-law helped me clean out this side enough to get the fence in, but stringing, stretching, pretty much did about 95% of that myself. One son-in-law helped me a little bit with it. And I see a roll of wire I left down there. See that right there? A roll of electric fence wire. I may go ahead and put electric fence here. I need to clean this corner out anyway and just go ahead and run on the inside of the property, run electric fence just to keep any sheep, goats, whatever from climbing on it and kind of messing up the fence. This is the northern edge, pretty much a straight shot, 1,000 feet. I said 1,200, it's 1,000 feet deep. And I am right on the road. This is a creek right here that right now is running and running up here on the road. So, this is the northern edge. And I don't know anybody that has ever painted their T-post. Maybe I'm going to start a trend. But I just, I guess I had the time and the initiative. Anywhere where there was a low place, I cut off some pieces of cattle panel. This is just a low place where I think a tree root was at one time, tree ball. And root ball rather. And so that's the bottom of the fence there. So it comes across there, and there's about a 6 or 8 inch gap there to the ground. So again, I cut off cattle panel, cut off the pointy ends of it where I could just drive it down in the ground and attach it to the fence. That fixed that little spot. No little old baby goat gonna get out of there. So I'm just pleased as punch. I used a roller to paint the majority of these gates, and worked real well even on that wire field. The wire in the gates, roller worked real well. Kind of a deep nap roller. So, they're pretty cool. There's one of my gates right behind the house, and as you can see, all these are painted red. This way, I stopped there. So behind the house, and there's the house. Behind the house is, I don't have painted. You know, someday there's the gate by the chicken pen. You can see the little swinging barrier underneath so the chickens won't come through. And there's my greenhouse. But that's the other gate. So I got 3 new gates. Everything got painted. And just tickle, 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 tickle. Painted the fence post all down the driveway and around the house. So it's all nice and pretty. And this is the look from our side. Pretty cool, pretty neat. I am tickled to death. It's about a 2-month project, clearing land and all that. Tickled to death. Got time to put my feet up. Won't you take a look at it with me? It's been a lot of work. A lot of work. I believe we gone.